G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my NRL round number 18 tips. I haven't had too much time to get ready for this, so kind of, a bit of a wing it with the team lists and things. We'll go through it. Obviously, Parramatta not playing this week. We have the bye, playing the New Zealand Warriors next week, so that'll definitely be a tough game nonetheless. But yeah, we've got 8 games again. We've got 8 games, including a Thursday night game tomorrow night back. So let's get into my tips for these games. I have got the share screen here so that we can run through it, and then I'll flick back so that I can see your comments as well. Actually, I can put your comments on YouTube here so that I can obviously see them. I pop up right down the bottom when you look up round 18 tips. It's hard to find where this live is without it, unless I don't know if I can send myself the link, but no. Okay, well let's do it. So I'll try and duck through the comments separately. So bloody PC cleaner. All right, so the Cronulla Sharks are taking on the Dragons in a Battle of the Beaches, a bit of a rivalry game here. Obviously the Dragons, they now have Ben Hunt named in the 7 jersey. There was a lot of uncertainty. They're a big price here. They're $6.70 in this game. The Sharks coming off the bye, coming off a big win against the Bulldogs as well, after being upset to the Storm at home. 18.5. It's a big line here. Do I think? Look, the Sharks for mine, they're a team that can beat, those bottom sides. And the Dragons, for mine, they are one of those bottom sides. I thought they'd put in more of a fight last week against the Warriors. I've read that it's Ben Murdoch-Mastilla's milestone game. And in all of their milestone games, they have actually conceded 40 points. So do I think they're going to score 40 again? I could see it, but I don't necessarily think they will. I'm going to go with the Sharks to win. I'm going to go Cronulla to win by 24. I'm going to go the Sharks to win 30. Let's go with 36-12. 36-12. The Cronulla Sharks, they're going to cover that line. It's a big line, but I think they can cover 8.5. As for a try scorer, I'm going to go with Teague Wilton to score the first try. Teague Wilton's obviously, I believe he's re-signed with the club actually recently. So Teague Wilton, first try scorer. Cronulla to win by 24 for that first game. Looking at the ins and outs, you can see Jack Bird out, Moses Sully out as well. So Lomax Moga in the centres out. I didn't really speak about the team changes, but there's not too much there for either side really. Toby Couchman obviously returns to the bench. Next up, the New Zealand Warriors taking on the Rabbitohs. Great win by the Warriors last week against the Dragons. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak playing insane footy right now, scoring tries for fun. South Sydney, I did tip them. I did say it would be a close game. Even though I thought the Cowboys were in with a chance, that the Rabbitohs would make it close, but they got absolutely blown off the park. They're looking like a different team. They've only won 2 out of their last 5 games as well. So really interesting for the Rabbitohs. Obviously, Latrell Mitchell still, and Jacob Host, Jed Cartwright out for this one. So the back row is Kolomatangi and Cheekham. Cameron Murray obviously came off for a HIA, but passed that one. And then there's their bench there. As for the Warriors, Marata Niokore is out, so Mitch Barnett onto the bench. Jackson Ford. Now, Josh Curran has been named, but I've heard there's some stuff going on with Josh Curran. So let's watch this space. But look, as for this game, the Rabbitohs, they're struggling with attack. They've got a decent record against the Warriors, so they should win this one. But you know what? I'm going to go the Warriors here. The Warriors have managed to sell out this game. They're playing some great footy. They're looking like they could potentially be a top 4 side. They seem to be, a top 6 side. You can almost lock that one in. But I do think it'll be a close win. I don't think the Warriors will win 13+. I could see it happening. I'll go the Warriors by 10. I will go the Warriors to win. I feel like this won't be that high scoring. I'm going to go with the Warriors to win. Let's go with a scoreline of 24 points to 14. I think that the Warriors should be too good for the Rabbitohs. And I'm going to go with Luke Metcalf, their number 6, to score the first try of that game. Just having a look at the live chat here. We can see it on our screen as well. Ooh, alive. Dreaded Dragons comment there. I think Warrior. So let's move into the next game. I've got the Warriors there by 10 points over the Rabbitohs. Their woes continue. This is a massive game. It says Amy Park, but it is at Marvel Stadium. It's the Melbourne Storm up against the Penrith Panthers. The Panthers are $2. Nice value about the Panthers. The Storm are $1.85. The Storm have been winning, by decent margins in their games recently as well. Let's have a look at the side. Aaron Panay is out. Tui Kamakamika. I'm just trying to see if he's on the bench. Yeah, number 16. Lorio and Nelson once again in the back row. He was great in the back row last week. Their bench, Bradley, Garlick, McDonald, Kamika. And then as for the Panthers, Zach Hosking, 18th man. Tyrone Peachy in the reserve. Liam Henry out for this one. Their stars like To'o, Yo, those type of players return. So with their stars back and with, how good their New South Wales Cup kind of reserve grade can play, like obviously the Knights, they should have won that game. They didn't win that game though because the Panthers have a really balanced youth, a really good balanced youth. But it's going to be tough going down to Melbourne here. Obviously, it's an AFL ground. It's not, necessarily home for the Storm. I'm just having a look at what the punters say. There is 56% of support for the Storm, 44% for the Panthers there, but obviously even money with the line at 1.5. I'm going to go the Storm here. I think the Storm are playing some really good footy. I do like what I have seen with Penrith Panthers recently. They have been able to, get the job done without Nathan Cleary. They have had a bit of a softer draw, though, whereas the Storm, they've had some challenges. Manly wasn't much of a challenge, but they did have the Sharks the previous week. Obviously, they aren't able to beat a top side. I do think it'll be tight, though, this one. I do like the Storm 1-12, paying $2.95 here, $1.89 for them to cover a line of 1. I do think the Storm will win 1-12. I'm going to go the Storm to win by... I do think this will be tight, eh? I'm going to go the Storm to win by 4. I'm going to go the Storm to win 22 points to 18. I don't see too many points in this one. I could see a little bit lower, actually. You know what? I could see lower. I'm going to go the Storm to win 20 points to 16. I think that Penrith side can really defend with what the Storm offer. Something tells me the Panthers really could strike first in this one. I'm going to go it, hey. I'm going to go Brian To'o, first try scorer, Brian To'o, into the Melbourne Storm to win. And I'm tipping Melbourne to win by 4 points in this one with a scoreline of 20 points to 16. Oh, this is a tough game to tip. Next up, Saturday, 3 o'clock in Canberra. It is the Raiders up against the Titans. Now, the Raiders... they didn't win Jared Croker's farewell game just a few weeks ago at home, so they're going to get a crowd here that are going to desperately want a win. They were able to beat the Sydney Roosters very unconvincingly. They scraped away with the 2 points in that one. Josh Papali, he's still out for the side. Tino is back pushing Isaac to the reserves for this one. Obviously, the Titans got a great win over the Broncos last week. They did leak some, no tries, which is a little bit worrying to me, but played really good footy. They were able to get the win, I think, either last year or the year before. I think the year before down there in Canberra, and they are, a much better side than they were in previous years as well. As for Canberra, as I said, that they scrape out of jail, they go back to home. This is really tough, but I'm going to go... I think the Titans had a great win last week. I'm going to go Canberra here. It's at home. I like what I've seen from Jamal Fogarty's kicking game. Jamal's up against his old club as well. So, look, I think he'll be a bit fired up for this one. I'm going to go the Raiders. I'm having a look at the line. It is 3.5. I do expect Canberra just to be able to cover that. I'll go the Raiders by 6. This one could have, plenty of points once again. I will go the Raiders to win 26. I'll go the Raiders to win 26 points to 20. Will I? For some reason, I feel like that's too many points. But the Titans, they can score points. Total of 45. That's playing with my mind here. I'll go the Raiders to win 26 points to 20. I'm going to back Matty Tomoko. First try scorer, Matthew Tomoko. I think he's playing some nice footy. So, yeah, I think he can score first. I could see the Titans getting a W here. I really could. But I think that the Canberra Raiders might be a little bit too good. Everyone's saying in the chat, look, I think Storm will win. Warriors 13 plus. Titans to win. Titans will win. Look, they are some value. Raiders will win. I think I'm going to agree with you there on the Canberra Raiders. Next up is the North Queensland Cowboys up against the West Tigers. Now, the Tigers in their, what we presume to be the last game at Leichhardt Oval, fired for the occasion. Obviously, they couldn't get Alex Twal over the line for that fairy tale, but he has scored a try. Cinch up against the Cowboys. Now, the Tigers, they're obviously coming off the bye. They're at a poor position on the ladder. So this is, a must-win game for them, I think, as well. As for the Cowboys, they are looking like a really good team. They are starting to look like the side we saw last year. I have been so impressed with Scott Drinkwater. He is one of my, if not my form players of the competition right now. If we're going off, the last month of footy that we've seen, I absolutely love what this side has been able to produce. Now, Jason Taumalolo has been named in jersey number 18 for this one. Finu Fuwaki has been named in jersey number 17 after starting in place of Nanai, I believe, last week. I could be wrong about that. Nanai might have been a laid in, actually. No, he did score a try. That's right. Utuikamanu back for the Tigers in the front row, and that's their bench there of Twal, Kapoa, De Silva, and Poele. I think no Luke Brooks for the Tigers as well. How's their attack going to go with Dane Laurie and Brandon Wakeham in the half? Interesting halves combination. I like what I've seen from the Cowboys. Now, the Tigers, who won just a few weeks ago, they are paying $5.30. So there is a bit of value there if they can go up to Townsville and get an upset. I think the Cowboys can probably win this well. I back their defense. I think they forced a lot of errors from South Sydney. I think they're looking like a good team. They're coming off that Origin victory going into a win against a decent side in the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So, look, I think they're going to get blown off the park here, if I'm going to be honest with you. The line's 14.5, and I think they can just about cover that line. I am going to go with the Cowboys. I'm going to go the Cowboys to win. I'm going to be a bit rough on the old Tigers here. I'm going to go the Cowboys by 20. I'm going to go the Cowboys to win 30 points to 10. I think they'll be way too good at home for the Tigers. They're riding a lot of confidence, and the Cowboys, for mine, Elijah agreeing there that the Cowboys are going to get the job done on Saturday evening. Next up is the Broncos and the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins are $3.27 for this one. I did see they were $5 at one point, but obviously the big news, Reece Walsh is out. He is suspended. He will also miss Origin Game 3. Now, I want to have a look at this side because I believe that will probably put Tristan Saylor into the fullback role, but we'll wait and see what they do choose to do. Obviously, the Dolphins conceded 40 points before halftime before, making trying to get back into the game, score plenty of points, win that second half against Parramatta. As for the Broncos, you look at these outs as well. Jordan Ricky, Thomas Flegler. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but just remember that the Broncos were up the top of the table. They were top 4, and they did miss out finals because at this point of the season, they started losing some games. But now they play their, new rivals. They've played a cracking game last time, but they are on a lot better side than the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins at the start of the year, they had a lot of momentum, being that new club, getting those wins or getting, beaten by close margins. But some of that hype now is starting to die down at the Dolphins. This game is at Suncorp, or is it at the Gabba? It's at the Gabba. It's at the Gabba, actually. It's at the Gabba. I do apologize. It's at the Gabba. Obviously, the Broncos, they're coming off a loss. They are going to want to smack the Dolphins to bounce back. Big line of 9.5 here. Can the Dolphins get up for this one? I'm going to go the Broncos here, and I'm going to go the Broncos 1-12. I like the Broncos at $3.15, 1-12. The Dolphins have conceded 90 points in their last two games. This is one of those games where you feel like they can fire up for, they had a week to prepare for the game as well. They're not playing on, a Thursday, Friday. They've got a bit of a turnaround on their side. I think the Broncos will win. I'm absolutely not confident because the Dolphins were able to go to North Queensland and beat them, which is, they've been good in parts this year. I do think this will be close. I'm going to go the Broncos by 6. I'm going to go the Broncos to win. It was a low-scoring one last time. Something tells me that this one might have more points in it. I'm going to go the Broncos. Their attack is going to be a bit off, isn't it? I'm going to go the Broncos to win 22 points to 16. The Broncos 22, the Dolphins 16. The Dolphins have shown that they can score points. I think 16 against some of these players that are out. Going to be missing some players. Look at the back row here in Xavier Willison and Brendan Piacora. There's a lot of weaknesses in this Broncos side going up against, Kenny Bromwich and Felice Kafusi. The Dolphins are very capable of winning this game with the outs that the Broncos have, but I will go the Bronco. But I think that the Dolphins at $2 plus 9 is a good bet. I don't mind that at all. Next up, you've got a snooze slugfest of a game. The Canterbury Bulldogs up against the Newcastle Knights for this one. The Bulldogs obviously didn't play last week. Carl Opawapu out. Chris Patello out. Jarrell Skelton out. Dane Gagai out for the Knights. Brody Jones, Lockie Miller on the bench for the Knights. On the reserve. Kyle Flanagan on the reserves. Corey Waddell on the reserve. So who's in? Jaden Ockenbaugh. Obviously, that's been happening for a while, actually. Curtis Moran at lock. Doggies at home. Knights weren't able to beat, Penrith reserve grade side. The Knights have been playing good defensively. And, they didn't concede too many points. They only conceded 20 at Penrith. Man. I think the Knights will win this game. I do like what I've seen from Khalid Rajab and moving into, a 5/8 role. It's a risk, but it could be a good risk in their favour. I want to see what people say in the comments, but do you think there'll be a 20-40 this round? I think Broncos will win by 10. I'm going to go Newcastle. I think Newcastle are capable of winning well too. But am I going to go the Knights 13 plus? I want to have a look at the odds first. $3.60. A line of 2. Let's look at their games recently. People are tipping Bulldogs here. Everyone's going the Dogs. And I guess the Knights have lost their last 3 games. They did lose to the Roosters by 2. They lost to the Broncos by 4. So, look, they're losing, but they are defending, whereas the Dogs, they're conceding 48, 34, 25, 24, and 30. So, I'm going to go the Knights. I back their defense here. I'm going to go the Knights. I'm going to go the Knights 13 plus. I'm going to back myself in here. I'm going to go the Knights to win. The Knights to win 28 points to 14. Knights to win by 14 points. I think they will be too good for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Look, I like the defense that they've been having. And they're losing close games, so they're probably dual win. They're not as bad as a team as I thought they were at the start of the year. I don't think they'll be in the bottom 3. The Bulldogs, though, I do think they could be there. So I'm going to go the Knights 13 plus, which is paying $3.60. So a bit of value if you like the Knights, just like myself. And the final game of the round, how long are we going? We've been going for 19 minutes. There we go. The final game of the round sees the Manly Seagulls going up against the Sydney Roosters. 2 out-of-form teams. One that competed, for 50-ish minutes against the Storm, who are a quality side. And one team who is so just inconsistent and just let the Raiders absolutely run over them at one point. Now, Joseph Suaalii. Now, I just realised I haven't picked the first try scorer for the last couple games, have I? My God. I know I picked Matt Tomoko here. This is how out of it I am, guys. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Val Holmes. I'm going to go with Val Holmes to score in back-to-back games there. For the Broncos game, I will go with... I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm going to go Payne Haas. I'll go Ruffy there. I'll go Payne Haas. Payne Haas, first try scorer. And as for this game, Knights, Bulldogs, think Knights will score first. Think it'll be in the back row. I will go Lachlan Fitzgibbon for that one. All right, so the Roosters weren't able to get the job done against the Raiders. Lost another close game after winning a close one against the Knights. They are not looking like a top 8 team at all. Sandon Smith, Luke Keary in the halves there. Schuster and Cherry Evans. This halves situation at Manly is about to go crazy. You've got Schuster, you've got Luke Brooks, you've got Jacob Arthur. Who else have you got? I think there's another one, but it's just crazy what they have done. Obviously, in new signings, but those signings are for next year, not this year. Ben Condon is out for this one. Angus Crichton, Egan Butcher out. Saul Wong. Saul Wong is in the NRL. Fantastic. That's a name that I've waited to see. He is there. Great to see him. I think it is debut, hey? I've been waiting for it. Yeah, makes his NRL debut. Keep an eye on him. Good player. Jake Turpin in jersey number 9. Drew Hutchinson in 14. Ben Travojevic here. Jake Travojevic back for Manly. It's at Manly as well. It's at Brookie. Manly are now favourites. I think Manly can win this game. I do. You know what? Fuck the Roosters. They have let me down a few weeks. I'm going to go the Sea Eagles here. I'm going to go the Sea Eagles. Look, I think without some of those forwards, I think the Roosters might struggle a bit defensively here. I'm just having a look at so $3.20, 1 to 12, 4.25, 13 plus. Very, very tight in regards to the head-to-head. I like Manly. I think the inclusion of Jason Saab is great as well. I think having him, if you kick into corners, you might score a try or two, Sabi. So I like Manly to win by, I'll go 10. They're at home, going to have a crowd around them. I think they're going to win 26 points to 16 in this one. Manly Sea Eagles to get the job done. First try scorer, Daly Cherry Evans. I see a bit of a Garrick run, some space back to Cherry Evans in support. He's shown how fast he can run. But, I think Manly might be able to get the job done over the Roosters for that one. So that pretty much wraps up my tips. I'll just recap them for you. So I'm going to tip the Sharks by 24 points. And I'll just go through up here, remembering that first try scorer for each game as well. First try scorer was Teague Wilton, and the Sharks to win by 24. Warriors and the Rabbitohs, I have got the Warriors by 10, and my first try scorer is going to be Luke Metcalf. Bit of a roughie there on that one. Moving on to the next game. It's the Storm and the Panthers. I've got Melbourne to win by 4, and my first try scorer was Brian To'o going to the opposition there. I think Penrith, they have attack early on. They could probably score a try if they get a good set in, but I think the Storm can run them down. And Cameron Munster, I forgot to mention Cameron Munster is back. They did score some points without Cameron Munster. Here I'm going to go the Raiders by, I believe it was 6, Canberra by 6. First try scorer, Matt Tomoko. Definitely think the Titans are in with a chance of an upset here, but I think Canberra at home. And, Jamal Fogarty fired up against his old club. Great win last week for Titans, but I think this week it might just, struggle to get the job done. I've got the Cowboys by 20 here. I think it'll be a bit of a reverse of that game we saw at Leichhardt Oval. First try scorer is going to be Valentine Holmes for this one. I've got the Broncos to win against the Dolphins. I've got the Broncos by, I forget what it was by. It was by 6. No, sorry. It was it was by 6. I've got the Broncos by 6. I reckon this will be close. My first try scorer was Payne Haas for this one. I haven't picked an any time for each other team, but I will put out something probably via Instagram. I've got the Newcastle Knights to win 13 plus. I really like the Knights to win this game. Minus 2.5. You're almost getting $2. I quite like that. And my first try scorer for that game, Lachlan Fitzgibbon to score first. And as for the Manly and the Sydney Roosters game, I've got the Manly Sea Eagle getting the job done by 10 points and Daly Cherry Evans to score the first try for that one. So that just about does it for the video, guys. Hope you have enjoyed watching my NRL round number 18 tips live. As I said, I'll try and get something out on Instagram as it was a bit of a different format. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Looking forward to it. Big week of footy. Obviously, my own team is not playing, so a bit disappointing there. But big game next week on Saturday against the Warriors. So yeah, no vlogs this weekend. Obviously, if you haven't checked out the vlogs already, go and check them out. There was one at the Sunshine Coast for the Eels and Dolphins game where we put on that massive score. And then there was also the Origin one last week. Make sure you check out merch in previous videos, link in the description as well. But that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, and I'll see you guys later.